Aikido looks unstoppable until the other guy fights back. Everyone loves a perfect Aikido demonstration. But what happens when your opponent is a sweat-soaked MMA fighter who refuses to cooperate? No pauses, no balanced gifts, no respect for tradition. Today, we strip away the dojo fantasy and put wrist locks under real pressure, high heart rate, slick grips, and zero compliance. This is not about elegance. It is about whether Nikyo and Kote Geishi survive chaos, strength, and aggression. Watch closely as timing collapses, friction disappears, and technique either adapts or breaks. This is the reality check Aikido never gets, and the one practitioner cannot afford to ignore. No pauses, no balanced gifts, no respect for tradition. Today, we strip away the dojo fantasy and put wrist locks under real pressure, high heart rate, slick grips, and zero compliance. This is not about elegance. It is about whether Nikyo and Kote Geishi survive chaos, strength, and aggression. Watch closely as timing collapses, friction disappears, and technique either adapts or breaks. This is the reality check Aikido never gets, and the one practitioner cannot afford to ignore. Aikido looks incredible. It's smooth, it's powerful. You see these masters in the dojo, and it's like they're conducting an orchestra of movement. The attacker comes in with a slight turn, a little twist of the wrist. The guy goes flying or gets folded up on the floor. The uke, the training partner, gives the right reaction every time. They yield. They fall gracefully. The technique looks perfect, like a beautiful, deadly dance. It's clean, it's precise, but that clean, pristine environment is a carefully controlled mirage. The real world isn't a dojo. The real world is a goddamn chaotic mess. It's violent, it's unpredictable. Now picture a different scene. Imagine a sweaty, jacked up MMA fighter in the third round of a war. He's not cooperating, he's not playing a role, he's trying to take your head off. He breathes heavy. He grunts and pushes and grinds. He's covered in sweat, and his rash guard is as slick as a wet fish. That elegant little wrist lock you perfected on your calm, dry training partner, against this monster, in this moment, it's going to evaporate. It's going to fail, and it's going to fail spectacularly. This video is about why that happens. More importantly, it's about what you can do to fix it. We're going to break it down, look at the brutal physics, and find a way to keep the powerful ideas of Aikido but upgrade the mechanics for the chaos of a real fight. Let's start with the most basic, undeniable reality of a fight: friction. A huge number of classical wrist locks, especially things like Nikyo, Sankyo. In the dojo, this isn't an issue. Cotton gi, bare, dry skin. Your hands are dry. Fingers, palm, can clamp down, creating a high friction connection. Every bit of torque gets transferred to the wrist joint. It's a clean system. But a real fight or a hard sparring session is a completely different world. People start sweating profusely. Sweat is nature's lubricant. It makes skin incredibly slick. Suddenly that firm grip is gone. Your hand starts to slide, like grabbing a wet bar of soap, and it's not just sweat. MMA, no GI grappling, rash guards, spandex, nylon, smooth moisture wicking, insanely slippery when wet. Applying a delicate twisting wrist lock on a sweaty rash guard equals failure. Watch slow-mo of a wrist lock in a scramble. The hand twists. The hand slides up the forearm. Torque doesn't go into bone. It gets wasted, smearing sweat. The attacker loses connection and control. Simple, brutal failure of physics, like turning a strip screw twist all day, nothing happens. To apply torque, you need a stable fulcrum, a firm lever. Your grip is that connection. When friction drops to near zero, you lose it. Force dissipates across skin instead of the joint. The opponent feels the slip, counters. That loss of friction can mean getting knocked the hell out. So don't underestimate sweat. Friction vanishes, leverage dies, control disappears. Now let's talk about timing and mechanics under pressure and why they shatter. Beyond the friction problem, there's the issue of timing and mechanics under pressure. Classical Aikido techniques are often taught with a specific rhythm. They rely on precise timing and catching the opponent at the perfect moment of extension or commitment. The defender anticipates the attacker's straight punch, grab, blends with it, redirects the energy into a lock throw. In a cooperative setting, this works beautifully. But a real fight isn't a choreographed dance. A resisting opponent moves in violent, unpredictable bursts. They don't just step neatly into your technique. They lunge, they pull back, they feint, they change direction. They do everything they can to destroy your timing. One of the most common and instinctual reactions from a trained fighter when someone grabs their wrist is to immediately retract the elbow. They don't leave their arm extended for you to work on. They bend their elbow, they pull their hand in close to their body, they engage their powerful back and shoulder muscles. This simple defensive action completely shatters the mechanics of most small circle wrist locks. The lever you were trying to manipulate is suddenly gone. The arm that was a long, controllable stick is now a short, powerful, clamped down structure. Trying to apply a wrist lock to an arm in that position is like trying to bend a short steel bar with your fingers. High-speed camera footage of real fights tells the whole story. It happens in a fraction of a second. In one frame, you see the defender get a hopeful grip on the wrist. In the very next frame, the opponent's elbow has already snapped back towards their ribs. Their posture has changed. They are already launching a counter strike with their other hand. They are changing levels for a takedown. The window of opportunity for that delicate wrist lock was so infinitesimally small that it might as well have not existed at all. The defender is left holding nothing, completely out of position, and exposed to a devastating counterattack. This mechanical breakdown happens because the techniques were designed for a different kind of attack. They assume an opponent who remains committed to their initial attack line, but a real fighter is a dynamic system. They are constantly adjusting, retracting, re-engaging. They aren't going to give you their arm, you have to take it. And if your entire technique depends on them handing it to you on a silver platter, you are setting yourself up for a rude awakening. The chaos of a real fight demands techniques that are robust enough to survive these violent, high-speed changes in structure and position. All right, keep that in mind. Section 4. The myth of passive control. A fundamental flaw in many traditional martial arts is the reliance on pain compliance. The dojo environment teaches a dangerous lesson. If you apply a technique correctly, the resulting pain will force your partner to submit or move where you want them to. This creates a myth of passive control, the idea that pain is a reliable stop button. In a real life or death confrontation, or even in a competitive MMA fight, that is a catastrophic miscalculation. Pain is not a stop button. For a determined adversary, it's just information. When you're in a real fight, your body is flooded with adrenaline. Adrenaline is a hell of a drug. It's a natural performance enhancer that dramatically increases your pain tolerance. A person who is enraged, terrified, or simply hyper-focused on winning will fight right through levels of pain that would make a person tap instantly in the dojo. They will willingly accept damage to a smaller joint, like an arm, like a wrist, if it means they can land a more decisive blow or secure a better position. They will trade the pain of a wrist lock for the opportunity to knock you out or take you down. Relying on them to politely stop because their wrist hurts is a fantasy. Furthermore, the act of chasing a limb, like an arm or a wrist, often means you give up control of the opponent's center of mass. This is a cardinal sin in grappling. While you're busy fiddling with their hand, they are stepping in, lowering their level, and driving their hips and body weight through you. You might have the best wrist lock in the world, but it's completely useless if you're airborne. This is why you see so few classic wrist locks finishing fights in high-level MMA. It's not that fighters don't know them, it's that they know they are low-percentage moves that carry a high risk. The opponent isn't a passive training dummy. They are an active problem solver trying to hurt you. They will break the rules of your technique. They will move in ways your compliant partner never would. They will eat the pain and give you a concussion in return. You have to build your system around controlling the entire body, not just causing pain in one small part of it. Control is the goal. Pain is just a side effect. So, yeah, rethink the reliance on pain. Section 5. Biomechanical evolution, from wrist hunting to body control. So what's the answer? Do we just throw Aikido in the trash? Absolutely not. The strategic brilliance of Aikido, kuzushi, timing, angular movement, the problem isn't the philosophy, it's the specific mechanical application. The solution is to evolve the mechanics. We need to move away from the delicate, friction-dependent act of wrist hunting and embrace methods that control the entire body. It's about shifting from using small, fine motor muscles in your fingers to using the large, powerful muscle groups of your back, shoulders, hips. A perfect example of this evolution is the Russian tie, also known as the 2-on-1. Instead of just grabbing the wrist, you use both of your hands to completely dominate one of your opponent's arms. You pin their wrist to their own chest, control their elbow, and use your shoulder and head position to break their posture. This grip doesn't rely on finger friction. It's a structural clamp that works even when you're both drenched in sweat. From the Russian tie, you control their entire body. You can pull them, push them, spin them, and set up a huge variety of takedowns and setup strikes. Another powerful tool is the whizzer, or the overhook. This is a direct answer to an opponent trying to take you down. Instead of trying a fancy wrist lock as they shoot in, you drive a deep overhook on their arm and use your hip pressure to flatten them out. The whizzer uses your entire arm, shoulder, and body weight to control their posture and leverage. It's a gross motor skill, something you can do under extreme duress. It completely shuts down their ability to finish the takedown and opens them up to your own attacks, like knees to the body or transitioning to their back. It's a real-world solution to a real-world problem. The key mental shift is to stop thinking about the wrist lock as the final destination. Instead, think of the wrist as a handle, a temporary point of connection that you use to get to something bigger. Use a wrist grab to pull the opponent off balance, but then immediately transition to a body lock, a Russian tie, or an underhook. Make the opponent carry your weight. Use your skeletal structure, not your muscular strength. Instead of twisting a small joint until it hurts, use your entire body to collapse their whole structure. Section 6. From fine motor to gross motor. Rewiring your reactions. One of the first things to go when you're under extreme stress and your heart rate is redlining is your fine motor skills. The delicate, precise movements you can make with your fingers and wrists become clumsy and unreliable. Your hands shake, your grip weakens, complex multi-step techniques fall apart. This is a physiological fact, yet many classical wrist locks are fundamentally fine motor skills. In the controlled calm of the dojo, this is achievable. In the middle of a violent scramble for your life, it's a fantasy. The solution is to retrain your instincts to favor gross motor skills, your shoulders, your hips, your legs. Think about the difference between threading a needle and pushing a heavy piece of furniture. In a fight, you want to rely on the furniture pushing movements. These actions are simpler, more powerful, far more reliable under duress. They don't fall apart when you're exhausted and full of adrenaline. Your training needs to reflect this reality. You replace the slow, methodical wrist-twisting drills with explosive, full-body movements. Instead of practicing a 10-step kotagaishi, practice getting a two-handed clinch and using your head position to break the opponent's posture. Practice pinning their arm to your chest with your shoulder while you drive them backwards with your legs. Drill entries into the Russian tie, the whizzer, from various positions. These are not delicate techniques. They are powerful structural controls that use your entire body as a weapon and a frame. This doesn't mean you can't be sophisticated. Gross motor movements can still be incredibly technical. A perfectly timed hip throw is a gross motor skill, but it requires immense technical understanding. The key is that the execution relies on big muscle groups that won't fail you when you're tired and scared. Your drills should focus on generating power from the ground up through your legs, through your hips, and transferring it through your core into your opponent. This is how you build a game that is not only effective, but also durable and stress resistant. You rewire your brain to respond to threats with powerful, simple, whole body actions. Section 7. Tactical integration. Making wrist locks part of the puzzle. Even with all their flaws, I'm not saying wrist locks are completely useless. They just can't be the star of the show. They can't be your plan A finisher. Instead, you have to change your tactical approach. Think of a quick wrist grab or a twist not as a submission attempt, but as a setup, a move that creates a reaction you can exploit. A wrist lock can be a fantastic way to distract your opponent, break their posture for a split second, force them to move in a predictable way. It becomes one piece of a much larger, more integrated puzzle of attacks. Section 8, resistance flow drills, building a bridge to reality. Okay, so how do you actually train to make this transition from compliant partner to resisting opponent? You can't just jump into full contact MMA sparring. That's how you get hurt. The answer lies in a type of training that some people call resistance flow drills. The idea is simple. You build a bridge between the cooperative world of the dojo and the chaotic world of a real fight. These drills teach you to move, adapt, solve problems against an opponent who is actively but intelligently resisting you. They teach you to feel when a technique is failing and to flow seamlessly into something else. The process starts slow and builds in intensity. You begin with a loose wrist control and your partner provides a small amount of resistance. They don't just give you the lock, but they also don't try to rip their arm away with full force. Your job is to maintain the connection and find the path of least resistance. As you get better, your partner gradually increases their resistance. They start moving more, pulling away harder, and trying to counter you. Eventually, you're drilling at a high intensity with your partner fighting the technique with everything they've got. This progressive resistance is key to building real skill. This type of drilling specifically trains you to recognize failure points. You will feel the exact moment your grip starts to slip because of sweat. You will feel the moment the opponent's elbow retraction makes your lock mechanically impossible. Instead of just stopping, the drill requires you to immediately transition. When the Nikyo fails, you flow into a Russian tie. When the Kotegaishi slips, you flow into an arm drag to take their back. This trains your body to have an answer for every problem, creating a fluid and adaptable game. It kills the habit of stubbornly sticking to a failing technique. Here are some simple drills to start with. First, the grip and slide drill. Have your partner wear a slick rash guard and get it a little wet. Your only job is to try and maintain a wrist grip while they move and pull their arm. This will teach you more about the reality of friction than 1,000 compliant repetitions. Second, the anchor drill. Practice getting a 2-on-1 grip and simply moving your partner around the mat using your body weight to drag them. Feel how you can control their entire body from that one connection. Third, the whizzer entry. Have your partner shoot a lazy takedown and practice getting your overhook and using your hip to stop them. These drills are the building blocks of a realistic and effective system. Section 9, Conclusion, Test, Adapt, and Evolve. Let's be blunt. The beautiful classical wrist locks, dry, cooperative dojo are highly likely to fail you against a strong, sweaty, non-compliant opponent. Thank you for viewing. If you want more, select a video on your screen and we will see you there.